Well, let's get this over with. The plan is to detonate a nuke next to Godzilla to revive him. So is the message that nukes save nature? Ugh. Oh wait, the weapon systems are damaged and can't be repaired. How fucking convenient. I guess all we can do is hope for a main character to step up and sacrifice themselves. Oh, hi Sarazawa. To be fair, I'll admit, it's nice to have a character do something that's meaningful to the story and true to their character. It feels so otherworldly in this film. There are so many flat characters in this story, I feel like I'm watching Krampus again. And I'm gonna say it like Krampus, because it's Krampus. Did you ever catch that one? Krampus, the holiday horror family comedy? Or was it a comedy holiday family horror? Family horror holiday comedy? Whatever, it sucks. The movie's basically about some kid and his shitty family. They get together around the holidays, and as the last holdout for believing in Santa, he writes a Christmas letter hoping for the individual betterment of all his family members, setting up all their character arcs. He wants to get closer to his sister, he wants his uncle to stop treating his daughters like boys, he wants his parents to rekindle their relationship. Ain't none of that shit happening in that movie. The rest of the movie is them getting killed off by goofy Christmas monsters one by one. No growth or change in the majority of the characters, just a bunch of people sitting in a room waiting for the next spooky thing to happen. My girl hates this movie, and I don't blame her. They never even establish clear rules for their titular character, Krampus. Main character kid rips up his Christmas letter, which apparently invokes the wrath of Krampus, so Krampus shows up and the first thing he does is kill the neighbors 4 houses down. Makes sense. It's just filled with bizarre moments, like when there's an earthquake occurring that no one mentions and doesn't affect the plot. The fuck was that? Why am I talking about this? A movie with underdeveloped characters, bloated concepts, poorly established rules, and a boring story. Because patterns, motherfucker! Just dropped another bomb on this dude. Oh, I'm so sorry. How insensitive of me. Wait. Why do you have to bring the nuke right up to Godzilla's face? Couldn't they have left it where they were? I'm sure the explosion would have been big enough to... fuck it, it worked. I'm just glad their Hail Mary succeeded. Sure, it destroyed Godzilla's lair, obliterated invaluable ruins, and caused irreparable damage to the ecosystem, but still a success by Monarch standards. Hold up. Wasn't the explosion behind them? They were being propelled away from it. Then why are they facing toward the whirlpool now? I guess they turned around and we didn't see it. Wait, what's Godzilla standing on? We were just shown there's nothing underneath him. I guess he must have found a big rock or something. Wait, wouldn't being this close to an irradiated monster give them a lethal dose of radiation? I guess it washed off.
What does the dosimeter say? 3.6 Roentgen, but that's as high as the meter. 3.6. Not great, not terrible.
I know, I'm nitpicking here. I have to remember what Nana always said.
Shut up, you stupid f***ing c***. All you do is complain, complain, complain.
What a lovely woman. Anyway, the Argo shows up and... Wait a minute. Weren't they just in DC? How the fuck did they get all the way to the South American coastline so fast? They were thousands of miles away fighting for the capital. So, we took the time to answer how Godzilla gets around, even though no one asked, and now we're teleporting other characters? Bro, remember how the sub went through 600 miles of hollow Earth to pop out in this random location? And the Argo was able to get here that fast? And hold on again. Hold the fuck on. Am I seeing this correctly? Did the Argo just come to a stop? In mid-air? You're telling me that this whole time, it could hover? So back in Antarctica, they could have just parked the Argo outside the front door to prevent Tywin's escape, and they just didn't? You're telling me that Monarch's stupidity has been propelling the plot from that far back in the story? I honestly lack the words to describe how frustratingly blunderous this is. Then again, frustratingly blunderous kind of covers it. Godzilla heads off to fight Ghidorah, and Mark finally has an epiphany. He realizes what part of the orca signal he's missing. Remember that being a thing? Human bioacoustics. Now that I'm listening closely, I can actually hear it a little bit. Yeah, that sounds about right. Speaking of the orca, let's get up to speed on what Emma and Tywin have been up to. Whilst Monarch has been going on this Atlantean adventure, on the other end of things, we're ham-handedly setting the stage for the final showdown. Finally, I can see light at the end of the tunnel. I've been working on this for months, and I was starting to feel a little like Rupert Pupkin here.
Mom!
Take it easy. Lower it.
I'm not gonna lower it. I have to do this now.
Man, you corny!
Anyways, the monsters are rising up. A little ahead of schedule for Emma, but still in favor of Tywin. As his plan is finally coming to fruition, he and his men leave the room, leaving Emma alone to look upon what she's wrought. You'd think that just having risen over a dozen giant monsters after years of hard work would make them want to stay and watch? But I guess there's something more important happening in the other room. What could possibly be more interesting than this? Whoa. Okay, I was wrong on that one. Worth it. Now, we come to a scene that's relatively small, but had a great potential for character development. Maddie is running away from Emma, who is trying to explain herself and how things are getting out of hand. Maddie says that Emma was supposed to be doing this all for her dead son, Andrew, but now she's asking Emma what he would have thought.
You doubt he'd approve, huh?
Yes, his approval would be a dubious proposition at best.
Then, Maddie locks herself in her room, and it's as if Emma has lost her second child. However, there is an alternate version of this scene, which, in my opinion, could have been better for the film. Did you notice how Maddie's hair was up and she looked all sweaty? That's because in a deleted scene, she had just come from sparring with Tywin's men while Tywin observed. Now this could have been an interesting dynamic between the three characters. What if after the loss of Tywin's son, he set his sights on Maddie as a surrogate child, attempting to indoctrinate her into his beliefs? Could have been interesting to see her caught between these two ideologies. Anyway, in this discarded version of the hallway scene, Maddie actually acknowledges that people were always going to die as a result of her mother's plan. However, instead of crying, she chastises her mother for her inability to handle the situation, and even accuses her of lying about her father running away. I like this because we're actually addressing how much knowledge Maddie had of the plan before Antarctica, and we're given a reason why she didn't leave with Mark. It would have been nice to get a few answers, but then again we know from her first scene that she's been in contact with her father, so this idea conflicts. See, this is the problem with reshoots. There is a good story in this movie, but it's this jumbled Frankenstein's monster of disconnected storylines and character development. Throughout the commentary, Doherty mentions the sheer amount of reshoots in this film, and right around this scene, I'm fucking feeling it. I need a pick-me-up. Oh my god! Oh my god, he's hula hooping! He's hula hooping! This just keeps getting better and better! Now, we're close to the end of the movie, and I honestly don't know who Maddie is as a character. And it seems like the writers didn't either. Is she a naive girl who thought her mom's plan was going to go swimmingly? Or is she a troubled youth who understood the risks of the plan and now doubts her mother's abilities? I guess it doesn't matter since she hasn't affected the plot at all up to this point. Then again, that's about to change. Emma and Tywin are having a chit-chat about what to do next. Tywin says that humankind is inherently terrible and had their chance to do right by nature but failed. He suggests it could be time to give the planet back to the monsters, who are wiping out mankind under Ghidorah's reign. I have to wonder if Tywin's crew agree with wiping out everything they've ever known and everyone they've ever met for the sake of eco-consciousness. Would love to know what their motivation is, but I guess they're just pawns in all this. You have to admit, Tywin's goal to kill off all mankind because they don't recycle seems hard to palate, doesn't it? Dude, if you'd rather be done with life How about this? Think globally, act locally. Take care of business. Leave everyone else out of your nonsense. Emma seems to agree with me because she wants to stop this extinction she set in motion. Okay, good. She's finally seeing the light. Alright, so what's she got in mind? She got us into this mess, how's she gonna get us out? Let's break down her new plan. First, she wants to go up to Fenway Park and broadcast the orca signal. Hopefully, this will prove to be a means of stopping the monsters in their tracks. Secondly, she'll try to figure out what Ghidorah is and how to stop it. Then... Nope, that's it. That's her plan. Really, bro? Her plan is to come up with a plan?
I got a dream.
What is your dream?
To have a dream.
Brilliant. But not as brilliant as how the writers had Emma and Tywin have this conversation over a live PA system where Maddie could overhear this terrible half-thought-out idea and run with it. But even that still isn't as brilliant as Maddie being able to steal the orca from Tywin because all his men left it, their most important tool, the key to mankind's destruction or salvation, completely unguarded. Maddie then walks right out the front door without any resistance from Tywin's elite garrison, makes her way through the chaos of a mass exodus of a major American city, wanders into a heavily monitored evacuation area, walks across an empty baseball field, a child in plain view of countless soldiers performing an evacuation, then somehow gains access to a restricted broadcast room and connects the orca to the stadium's loudspeakers, both of which she has no experience operating. It all checks out. What's weird is that after the orca turns up missing...
Back up. How the hell do you turn up missing?
Because nobody knows where you are when they realize you ain't there.
Tywin sees he's now missing the most integral piece of hardware for his activities. And realizing this, he doesn't really care.
I wonder who could have done this.
Are there any stakes in this movie for anyone? So Emma decides to go get Maddie back. When Tywin tries to stop her, she pulls a gun on him and says she already lost one child and won't lose another. Makes sense. This sentiment might have even resonated with Tywin's character since he saw his son die earlier, but since the movie forgot that, he just lets her go for no reason, claiming, "We already have all we need." What does he mean by that? He's the most wanted man on Earth at this point, and the one thing he needed for his plans is in the wind. What could this cryptic line possibly be referring to? Well, I guess we'll have to find out in the next movie, because with this scene, we say goodbye to Tywin. He is out of the movie. His terroristic actions go unpunished, and besides the loss of his forgettable son, he and his men are completely unscathed. Our villain, everyone. At least he got some of those Game of Thrones fans to show up to this shit show, so mission accomplished. Meanwhile, back in Boston, Ghidorah arrives to harass the Stranger Things girl. This scene, described by the writers, is where the empowered princess does battle with the dragon. Oh, is that what I'm seeing? You know, maybe that sounded cool back when you were sipping your soy latte holding court at your liberal arts college, but to everyone else, this is a scene of a frightened girl running from a monster she's powerless against. And guess what? I feel nothing for this girl, who I don't know, as she runs screaming, comically dodging death at every turn. What was her plan again? Well, I guess it was to corner herself, then toss away the one device in the entire world that's ever had an effect on Ghidorah. Yep, she just chucks it away. Why? So she can perform her signature full-body scream. Jon Snow would be proud. And now comes a moment I truly don't understand. Follow me on this. So, Ghidorah is hit by an atomic ray that knocks him clear out of Fenway. Maddie then turns around to see the green monster. And what does she do? She smiles? Alright, stop. I need you to tell me why she's smiling. Someone? Maybe you're thinking she's glad our hero is here to save the day. I'm sure that's how the writers wanted us to see it. The problem is, this is the first time Maddie is seeing Godzilla since he killed her brother. At no point in this movie have they ever even crossed paths. She left Antarctica before he arrived, and she's been in Boston ever since. I can't even recall her even seeing footage of him on TV. Never even said his name. That means this moment is the first time she is coming face to face with the monster that ruined her life. He killed her brother, drove her father to alcoholism and his eventual estrangement, turned her mother into a Stalin-level mass murderer. Now here he is, looming over her once again, and she smiles. It's distracting and muddles the tone. Imagine having a three-headed demon in front of you, then you turn around and it's the monster that inflicted a life-defining trauma to you. Would you be smiling like everything's gonna be a-okay? I'd be pissing my pants. Well, speaking of moist trousers, it's finally time for the showdown. Aw, snap.